and you missed a lot of life-changing game if you weren't at the Game Kings 2, the definition of a man seminar in New York City. But don't worry, because right now you can get access to the entire Game Kings 2 seminar. All you got to do is click the link below. And in this seminar, you're going to learn heavy games, some heavy game from myself, Miles Cunningham, Rom Wills, Taekwondo, and Kerry K. Zagan. We're talking about manhood, confidence, attracting women, and much more. So click the link below right now so you can get your copy today. You still ain't getting women? Really? Come on, son. You need to go to badboymembership.com and step up your game. What's up, y'all? It's your boy, Mr. Locario, the bad boy of the dating game, and I'm telling you that if you really want to attract beautiful women, you need to go to badboymembership.com. This is where you get 45 through 90-minute step-by-step dating advice tutorials every month. Just sign up, follow the advice, and you'll get the woman you want. Go to badboymembership.com. That's badboymembership.com. It's your boy, Mr. Locario, the bad boy of the dating game, and I want to tell you about my documentary, Game Kings, the definition of game, starring myself, the Boss Mac Top Soil, Rosebud, Rom Wills, Miles Cunningham, and much more. In this documentary, you're going to learn about confidence, manhood, attracting women, and the definition of the game. To get this documentary, go to MrLocario.com.
Some people think you need a sports car to get what you want. Some people think you need $1 million. Some people think you need looks, status. The only thing you need is what they can't get unless they come straight to you. And that's your identity. Join the Masculine Identity membership today. MasculineIdentityMembership.com. Masculine Identity Soap. This luxurious, quality, high lather, high moisturizing, all natural bar soap has been handcrafted with care and consistency to provide a quality cleansing experience for self-care, focus, and productivity. Specially formulated for cold showers. Stay clean, gentlemen. Masculine Identity Soap.
Yo, what up, what's poppin', what's good? What's going on? Shout out to everybody in the chat. It's gonna be a really short show today, so just letting y'all know up front. Let me get the phone lines open real quick. So if you guys want to call in, call in up 646-481-3901, 646-481-3901 is the number, so you guys can call that number and get that shit cracking, man. But shout out to everybody in the chat, shout out to everybody in the building. Who we got up in here? Shout outs to Drew, Studio Horror Music, Jay, CT, J Bone, what's going on? Old Times Finest, Road was popping, Jux Season, Manuel, what's going on? Fat John, D's Nuts, Pause, El Barrio, Joe Blast in the motherfucking building. What's going on? Shout out to who else we got up in here? Red Renee is in the building. Mr. Go Blue, Bobby Bones is up in here. Dan is in the building. What's going on, man? Shout out to everybody. So today, guys, the topic is the 3 types of realities for men in the dating game and what you miss out on when your game is weak. Okay. So this one right here is actually something that's very, very important for guys to know so that they understand what's going on out here in these streets right now. One of the things I want to say first is this, right? You guys have to understand when it comes to the dating game, right? You are going to be living in a certain type of reality. And what that means is that what you experience, right? Somebody else might not experience, and what they experience, you might not experience, right? And so what happens is there's three types of realities when it comes to this game, right? And I'm gonna go through each one and understand each one has its, sort of pros and cons, if you want to say. You understand? Each one of these realities has their pros and cons, and then you gotta, figure out which reality you're in. And you're gonna know when I say it. You understand? You're gonna see what it is and understand that whatever reality you're in, you can still shift to the different reality. You don't actually have to stay in the reality you're in. And if you want to stay there, you can. But if you want to move into a different reality, you can also, right? So what are we talking about here? When I'm talking about the three types of realities for men in the dating game, right? So there's three types of dudes that's going to be in the dating game. You're going to have the top guy, right? You're going to have the average guy and then the below average guy. Top guy, average guy, below average guy, right? So what happens is that each of these guys have a different reality. So the top guy has a different reality than the average guy, and the average guy has a different reality than the below average guy. The below average guy has a different reality than the top guy. The below average guy has a different reality than the average guy. You understand what I'm saying? But I'm gonna go through each of these types of dudes, and then I'm going to, talk about like how you can understand where you're at, and if you want to, move into a different reality, then you can do that. But also, I want to talk about how when you don't have game or when your game is weak, you miss out on certain things. Because see, what happens is this, right? Like I said, there's pros and cons to each reality. But what you want to do is that for your own life and for your own situation, you want to make sure that most of the situations that you're in are situations you want to be in, things that you like to do, things you're, places and situations that you're enjoying yourself when it comes to dealing with the women and all that other good stuff, right? So let's start with the top guy. Let's start with the top guy, okay? So the top guy, right, is the guy who is the most attractive to the most amount of women, right? He's the guy that's the most attractive to the most amount of women. He's the guy that has the most game out of all three of these guys, right? And so the top guy, he can get women for sex and for relationships easily in most cases if he is actually really, really on point, right? Now, unfortunately, a lot of top guys aren't really that on point, though, if we're going to be honest. So a lot of top guys, what they can do is they can get sex easily, but they can't really get a relationship easily. And the reason why they can't get a relationship easily, because what happens is that for a lot of the top guys, right, because they're so attractive to women sexually, they just want to keep fucking women. You understand what I'm saying? So their reality is that they have a lot of options to have sex, right? They have a lot of options to have sex because a lot of women want these guys. Now, if that top guy, his game is super, super, super on point, he could have women who want to have sex with him, but also want to be in a long-term relationship with him, right? But most top guys, what happens is that their reality is they can get women easily. So they're the type of guys that they can basically get new women damn near every day if they wanted to. You understand? They have an abundance of women to hook up with, right? They could go on an online dating site and have dates every damn day of the week if they wanted to. Though that's the top guy. That's their reality. Now, that's usually a small section of guys. You understand? It's usually a small section of guys, right? So the pros of that, I would say, is they have, access to an abundance of women who are sexually attracted to them. Now, the con of this top guy is, like I said, if his game is not on point, he's going to have a hard time maintaining a longer term relationship. And the reason why he's going to have a harder time maintaining the longer term relationship is because he's so used to just having all these women and having all the access to them. So he just hops from woman to woman. And because he hops from woman to woman, right? What you have to understand is that certain women will know this or recognize this and will not necessarily take him seriously as a long-term, guy to be with, right? And so it's going to be harder for him in certain situations to, get with a girl long-term. One, because he's trying to fuck all these other women, and two, the women don't take him that seriously. Now, if the top guy has some tight ass game, and let's say he still wants to fuck with a bunch of girls but have a main girl, he can do that because he has enough game to do that. Or what'll happen is that he'll be in a situation where he'll pick from these abundance of women, and he's like, well, you know what? If I want to be monogamous, I'll just be with this one woman and I'll just keep it moving in that direction, and then he'll make that happen. But for that guy, it's hard for motherfuckers to do that type of shit if they're the top guy, right? So the pros is, yeah, he has all these women that he has access to for hooking up, sex, and all this other stuff. The cons is that in most cases, it's going to be hard for him to, you know, settle down and all that other shit, right? So that's the top guy. That's the reality for the top guy. So the reality is that guy, he, you know, is getting a bunch of chicks that want to fuck with him on the front end. Now, the average dude, let's move into the average guy. So who's the average guy? So the average guy in reality, or the average guy, is what most of, I would say, society is. I would say that. Like, let's say if you had 100 dudes, right? I would say about 70% of them would be the average guy. You understand? So the average guy is the guy where he can get hookups and, you know, hook up with girls from time to time, and he can get a long-term relationship, but he has to work hard to make it happen, right? Also, what happens is that because the average guy does not have access to women like the top guy, as far as, you know, sexual access to these women, right? He's more likely to get into a relationship quicker, or try to get into a relationship, or be with one woman, because he has to work to get that woman. And so because he has to work to get that woman, he says, well, you know, I don't want to have to put in work to get another woman and another woman, so I'm just going to stay here with this woman. You understand what I'm saying? So most guys are the average dude where it's like, okay, I want to get that one girl who I'm going to have a girlfriend, have a wife, have some kids, and all that other stuff. That's the average guy. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. But understand that that's the average dude. So his reality is way different than the top guy. His reality is, you know, I might actually meet this girl. Maybe I'll hook up with her, maybe not. I'll go on a few dates with her, and then maybe she becomes my girlfriend or whatever it is like that. And I'm with this girl for an extended period of time. And then let's say we break up, and then I do it all over again. The average guy is not necessarily out there, you know, being a player. You understand? Because it's going to be too much work for him. And that's just not his reality. You see what I'm saying? Now, the pros of the average guy is that because he doesn't have as much access sexually to women like that, he's usually going to be more equipped for a long-term relationship, which means women that he deals with will be more inclined to be in a relationship with him. So he's more likely going to be able to have an easier time getting into a long-term relationship than the top guy. You understand? But the con is that he sometimes just takes what he can get. You understand? So that means that the average guy, even though he may want more, or he may want a different situation, he won't really try to make it go happen, because for him it's a lot of work to try to make that happen. Like, you have to put in a lot of work in order to get access sexually to more women the way that the top guy can. You understand? But what'll happen is he meet a girl, he'll hang out with her, take on a few dates, he ends up dating her, and then she may become his girlfriend, may become his wife, and so forth and so on. You see what I'm saying? That's the average guy's reality. So when we talk about different types of realities, guys, this is what you got to understand. This is why sometimes you'll hear certain guys say, oh, well, yeah, I got this shit popping with this chick, and other guys won't believe them because that's not their reality. So one guy might be like, man, I'll be fucking a bunch of different chicks. And the other guy, he's like, what? Like, come on, you this cap. Now it's capped to the other dude because the other guy is the average guy, where the other guy that's talking about that is the top guy. And this is why you can't relate sometimes in certain situations. It's just like, for example, choosing signals, right? There are certain dudes who get way more choosing signals than other guys, but it's a small percentage of guys who get that on a regular basis. And even those guys don't get it that much to where it makes a difference. So when guys are talking about choosing signals, yeah, some guys might get a choosing signal here or there, but for other guys, that's not their reality. There's guys out there who have never gotten choosing signals or who may never get a choosing signal. You see what I'm saying? It's just different realities. So when we talk about the average guy reality, the average guy, right? He is the guy that is out there the most in the sense of like in out here in the population of men, he's the guy that's out there the most. The guy who, he gets one nice girl, they settle down, the girl becomes his girlfriend, and if she doesn't become his wife, they break up and he finds another girl, and then he starts the whole process over again. And then maybe she becomes his wife, he marries her, gets divorced, that type of shit. That's the average guy. He's monogamous, that guy. That's the average guy. Shout out to my lady April MC in the building. With your sexy ass, girl. So now, let's go to the below average guy. So we're talking about the top guy, average guy, below average guy, right? So now, the below average guy is the guy who it's hard for him to get anything popping with a woman. These are the guys who you would consider like incels, up into guys you would consider guys that you would say probably had sex with maybe like one girl in their life in their mid-30s or some shit. Guys who have gone years without hooking up with a girl or whatever, right? These are the below average guys. And so their reality is ain't shit popping off. You understand? Their reality is, maybe it's because, I just don't look good, or women only want guys with status and money and all that. Like when you watch YouTube, the black pill motherfuckers, those are the below average guys. That's their reality. So it's the incels, it's the guys who've only had sex with one chick in their life, the socially awkward guys, the guys who never get any play, the super, super, super nice guys in the friend zone. That's the below average guys. That their reality is they ain't getting no play. They're damn near invisible. Like I told you guys before, I was on the message board, and I never forget this. This guy said in the message board, he said there's 3 types of guys: alpha, betas, and invisible. So it's kind of similar to what I'm talking about, where you have top guy, average guy, below average guy, alpha, beta, invisible. Now, doesn't mean to say that, every average guy is a beta. I'm just, simplifying it, right? And it's not to say that every below average guy is invisible, but I'm just simplifying it, right? So what happens is that for the below average guy, because you're probably saying, well, what's the pro and the con to the below average guy? What's the pro to be a below average dude? So the pro to being a below average dude, and this is going to sound funny, is that if you're a below average dude, it's going to sound so fucked up. If you're a below average dude, and this is actually a pro, but you probably didn't know it. If you're a below average dude, you don't have to deal with some of the shit that goes along with dealing with women. You understand? You don't got to worry about STDs. You don't got to worry about unwanted pregnancies. You ain't got to worry about dealing with a disrespectful chick or whatever. You understand what I'm saying? Because you ain't really getting shit popping. You ain't getting shit popping. Now, the con is almost similar to the pro. The con is, because you're below average guy, you're not really getting the experience of dealing with women. So it's kind of like you're sort of missing out on what it is to to really be out here dealing with chicks in the game. So the pros and the cons are almost similar for the below average guy. It's kind of funny. And so The question, I say, or the thing I want to talk about too is, what you miss out on when your game is weak. So let's say you're a below average guy, right? Because your game is so weak, you're missing out on dealing with women. You're missing out on dealing with multiple women. You're missing out on the fun and excitement it is to be out on a first date, seeing where the shit could go, hollering at a chick or interacting with a chick who is feeling you the same way you feeling her, right? And so you miss out on these things because you don't have no game or your game is weak. Or let's say, you're the average guy who, you don't know how to attract multiple women, and you might either just take what you can get or you get a girl you're actually attracted to, but because you're with her and let's say she might not necessarily be that cooperative or whatever, you're having problems with the girl. So you don't get to experience multiple different women who would be cooperating with you. Even the top guy, if his game isn't really tight, he doesn't get to experience a longer term relationship with a chick who really gives a fuck about him. You see what I'm saying? So when your game is weak on any level you at in any of these realities, you're going to be missing out on certain things. Now, understand that you can choose which reality you want to be in. I'm going to say that again. You can choose which reality you want to be in. So if you're on some below average guy shit, it's not that you're doomed to be a below average guy, right? If you're an average guy, it doesn't mean you can't be a top guy. And if you're a top guy, it doesn't mean you stay a top guy. You could actually be an average dude, or even, dare I say it, a below average motherfucker if your game gets super weak. So you're probably like, damn, how the fuck does that happen? See, you can move in and out of any of these realities. You understand? So let's say you're a below average guy, but you want to move into average guy reality, right? All you need to do is really start stepping up your game. You know what I'm saying? So dress better, smell better, fucking, have more confidence in yourself, right? Put more energy out there to talk to women, right? Learn how to converse, flirt, right? So you can do things to go from below average, that below average reality, to the average reality. And then you can step up to the top guy. So let's say you're the average guy, you want to step up to the top guy, right? You got to do the same thing. You have to step up your motherfucking game. You see what I'm saying? Once you step up that game, then you say, okay, wow, okay, I know that when I'm out here doing what I'm doing, I'm starting to see more women fuck with me. I'm starting to see more women gravitate to me. So now I'm able to even choose better. See, what's interesting is this, is that if you're the top guy who has tight game where you can get sex and get the type of relationship you want, as far as, let's say, a long-term relationship, if you want that to happen, that's when you're really at the top of your game. Meaning when you can choose, right? When you can really choose effectively, that's when you're on top of the game. And what does that mean? That means when you can actually choose to be in a relationship. Let's say, for example, you want to be in a relationship long-term with a woman. That means you chose the best option to be in that relationship with you. See, what happens is that the average guys usually on the low, they take what they can get. See, a lot of average guys don't really, or I should say, aren't really in relationships with the woman they really want to be with. So either the woman isn't as physically attractive as he would want, but she might be a cool chick, but he would rather her be hotter, or the chick is hot, but her attitude, her energy, her fucking personality ain't all that. And he's like, yeah, she looks good, but I'm not really feeling her, but I'll stay with her because she kind of looks good. But if you are on top of your motherfucking game, then you can get a woman who you're physically attracted to and you also like her personality. You also like the vibe that's going on with the situation. You see what I'm saying? That's when you're really on top of the game. But in any of these realities that you're in, you can shift realities. And see, a top guy can also shift to an average to below average guy. How is that? So if a top guy, for example, stops interacting with women, let's say he go, what they call it on YouTube, he goes monk mode or some shit, or he just like gives up on just dealing with women for whatever reason. Let's say a top guy was dealing with a chick and, you know, let's say for whatever reason, he's been seeing his girl for a while. He starts to really like her. The chick don't want to see him no more. And then he starts to get in his feelings and shit. When he gets in his feelings, he's like, man, you know, he's all heartbroken and shit. And then what happens is he stops going out there interacting with chicks or whatever. And then he stops going to the gym. He stops fucking looking good. He's not shaving. He's not doing all the shit that he was doing before, right? He stops going out and interacting with women. So he's going from the top guy, you know, going down to the average type of dude. He can still, you know, get a girl here and there, but it's not the same vibe, right? But then that guy could actually turn into the below average guy. So the guy could went from the top guy to below average guy. Because at a certain point, he might get so deep into his bullshit, right, that he just loses that oomph. He loses that mojo. And he becomes a below average guy. He starts dressing terribly. He starts looking terrible. He's not getting haircuts. His shoes are dirty. He's not, you know, out there. He's not a go-getter anymore. He's just like a regular motherfucker. He's staying at home playing video games. That nigga's below average right now. Because a lot of times what happens is this, right? When you don't put yourself out there in the game on a consistent basis, you start to get rusty. You start to get rusty. See, this is why a lot of average guys who get into long-term relationships end up turning into bitches because they're with their one girl and they just sort of like fall back. So when they were that single guy out with their boys, hollering at girls in the street, at the bars, at the clubs, and doing their thing and dating, they had a certain type of energy. Then they got with their girlfriend or their wife, and now they just fell back, and it's just whatever. They lost that energy. You understand? They lost their energy. So again, you got to understand that there's different realities out here. So just because you're not experiencing a certain thing doesn't mean another guy isn't experiencing a certain thing. You understand? So there's guys experiencing things you're not experiencing, but you don't think it's real or true because you've never experienced it. And that's because that's not your reality. You see what I'm saying? You got to understand that there's different fucking realities out here in this bitch. You understand? But guys, if you have a question, put a Q in the chat. So this is going to be a short show. I'm only going to be here for another like 15 minutes. I wasn't going to do it too long. You feel what I'm saying? But if you have a question or anything, you can put a Q in the chat. If you want to call in real quick, you can call in. So let me see what this says. This is important. I know you say your value isn't determined by women, but how can you be the top guy if you're always getting rejected? So aren't women in charge of your sexual market value? Oh, Kev, I love when you ask these questions. I love when you ask these questions. No, see, this is what you got to understand, right? First of all, let's get this whole sexual market value nonsense out of here. There's no such thing as sexual market value. That's a whole bunch of bullshit that you guys hear on the internet. You know, you hear that, oh, well, this person's sexual market value is this because the market says that. It's all bullshit. All bullshit. So what happens is that you're saying, but how can you be the top guy if you're always getting rejected? And then you're saying, I know your values in terms of women, but how are you the top guy? So what happens is that you are missing the key ingredient to what the game is about. The game is about you. Remember, it's about you. So what happens is that when you're out there doing what you do, the women are responding to you, right? Everyone's going to get rejected. Like there's no guy out there that goes out and every chick he hollers at, it just, it just falls through, right? But what happens is that the way that the guy puts himself out there is going to attract certain types of women or certain amount of women. So it's not about the women, because the women that he's dealing with is in relation to who he is and how he's able to attract them. You see what I'm saying? So for example, if you got a guy who is a top guy, right? Because he's super confident, he believes in himself, he goes out there, he's a go-getter, he makes it happen. He's going to attract a certain type, a certain amount of women or a certain type of women, right? The average guy, in his mind, he doesn't believe he's as cool, charismatic, confident, and has as much swag as the top guy. So his reality reflects that. So the women and how the women are coming into the situation is just basically a byproduct of how that guy is coming into the situation. Right? So you're saying, so aren't women in charge of your sexual market value? See, what you have to understand is this, right? Is that the whole thing about sexual market value, right, is nonsense, because when it comes to sex appeal and sexual attraction, right, it's all subjective. So what happens is when dudes talk about sexual market value, they'll say stuff like, or they'll say things like, well, a good amount of women who are like this are going to like this guy because he looks like this or he's this way. Which is nonsense, because the variables are too much. It's too many things going on. You understand? So even, for example, let's say you got a guy who women might say, oh, he looks good, and so I'm sexually attracted to him because he looks this way, or he's this type of guy or type of looking guy. There's a whole bunch of women who aren't going to be fucking with him. You understand what I'm saying? So the thing is that there's too many variables that come into the situation. In fact, if you're going to really talk about some sexual market value, what you got to understand is that within the market, right, there's usually a small niche of motherfuckers who are really highly interested in you. This is why I talk about women who have high interest in you, right? If you go into a place and there's 100 women, maybe 10, 15, 20 max might have high interest in you, but that's 80 who don't. Why? Because just off your look, let's just go off your look. Let's say if I walk into a party, let's say I walk into a situation, whatever, right? And let's say just off the top, just off my physical, let's say chicks, there's a number of chicks who are not into me because I'm dark skinned. And then some other chicks who aren't into me because I'm black. Right? So just off the fact that I'm black and I'm dark skinned, we've eliminated those women. But guess what? There's going to be some women over here who are literally off the rip interested in me because I'm black and I'm dark skinned. But usually what will happen is that it's going to be a smaller amount out of the bigger amounts, right? Because there's all these other variables of other types of guys that women could like. You see what I'm saying? So what that means is that if there's 100 women in there, let's say 15 of them are like, oh, because he's dark and he's black, I like that guy. Or I'm physically attracted to that guy. Right? And then let's say 85 aren't. Why? Because another 10 are attracted to the blonde guy. Another 15 are attracted to the Asian guy. Another 20 are attracted to the guy who's, from wherever. And I'm just talking about highly interested. So the other 85 women, it's not that I can't get them, but they're just not highly interested like that. You understand? So it says, since he brought up his sexual market value stuff related to like celebrities and stuff, I know that cannot be everyday public living topic. This is what I'm saying. There's no such thing as sexual market value. That's what I'm trying to tell you. There's no such thing. There's too many variables. There's no such thing. See, that's something that, you know, guys try to sort of say to understand the thing, but there's no such thing, because they'll say like, well, Lucario, isn't the top guy, you know, have the most sexual market value? No, the top guy is the guy because he chooses to be that guy. You understand what I'm saying? See, let me explain something to y'all. Being the top guy, I should say it like this, because I want you guys to really, really feel me on this. Being sexually attractive, right, takes fucking work. Y'all don't understand. You don't understand this shit. But let's go to this call. I think this is a monogamous player on the line. Hold on, let me get all right, monogamous player. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man.
Yeah, what's going on?
You already know that I donated.
That's what's up. That's what's up. That's what's up. So what's going on? What's going on? What's popping?
Yeah, man. I'm gonna be honest, man. Like you really hit on a lot of good points. And the first point that I just wanted to just point out that you hit is the fact that like the difference between like the average guy versus the elite guy or whatever the case may be. And then like another thing, Mr. Lucario, like when you talk about you being a top guy, right? It's not about being a top guy to every woman. It's about you knowing what to do with the women that look at you as the top guy.
Right, exactly.
That's what it's about. And that's what you was basically just explaining. Like Mr. Lucario, like, who really needs 100 women?
Exactly,
You know what I'm
right.
Like, you know, like in my bachelor days, you know what I'm saying, at a time I was good with 3 or 4. You know what I'm saying? 4 was enough for me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But as a guy, and you know what I'm saying, like as a guy with game, see, guys with game, like they see, even when you said that, Mr. Lucario, like it's to the point of the game to where like you can really control the dynamics of what you want to happen within your life. You know what I'm saying? Especially in the dating world. So like, you know, when, you know what I'm saying? Like it's not in your best benefit to holler at all these females, you know what I'm saying? Or to mess with this particular female, because you realize that like, it's at a point to where like, it's about compatibility or alignment. Like not every girl is meant for you to fuck with. You know what I'm saying? Some girls are going to get away, but that's cool because at the end of the day, you still moving forward and you still meeting who you meet. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's what it's about. But also, Mr. Lucario, like, you know, like just being like the top guy or whatever the case may be, it's all about understanding yourself and being confident in being yourself.
Right.
Because when you just yourself, like you'll be surprised of how many women that are actually attracted to truly you when you're being truly yourself.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. Like when you just out here doing you, you're gonna have a more than enough. Like I'm gonna be honest, like guys gotta understand it's not hard to have multiple women that you fuck with. That is not hard at all, bro. Like that is like normal to top guys. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Because they have that aura that women want to be around them. You see what I'm saying? So that's what it's, you know what I'm saying? That's what it's about. It's about you being truly you. And whoever you attract is whoever you attract.
Right.
And guess what? You're going to find the best of the best in whoever's attracted to you. And because, and be honest, Mr. Lucario, how can you find the best of the best in a flock of women that are not attracted to you?
Exactly.
Or semi-attracted to you. You know what I'm saying? Like that's inevitable. You see what I'm saying? So you gotta have that certain type of mindset. But I'm not gonna stay here on here too long, Mr. Lucario. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yes, sir. Appreciate this. Appreciate the call, brother. All right. Let me get into some more of these questions really quick. So Jim, this is a statement. He said, if you're below average, then you need your purpose because that's all you can ever do. What I meant by type, but think about it. What are you talking about, Jim? I don't understand what you're talking about. You need your purpose. What are you saying? I says, had a chick who we already smashed, trying to set ultimatum of always going out before we smash. Had another who tried to set a D pace. of when we'll smash after we kiss before. Why do they try to set the deep? I guess they try to set a pace of sex. Well, you're allowing them to set that. You understand? You have to let them know what it is. You let them know, you say, hey, look, this is what I want to happen. I want to hook up. I want to have sex. Are you down with that? Yes, no. No, cool. I'm going to fall back. When you're ready to have sex, hit me up. You see what I'm saying? But y'all be allowing these women to think what they talking about or what they saying is relevant. And so that's why, you know what I'm saying? That's why that shit goes down. So how do you get chicks to get rid of the app? Get rid of the app? What app are you trying to get them rid of? What are you talking about? What are we talking about? Get rid of what app? And why do you want them to get rid of the app? What is the app you want to get rid of? What is it? What are we talking about? It says going to go out to bars, lounges, and clubs. Do you have to go out every week or every 2 weeks because the entry fees be pricey? Well, it's the thing. You don't have to go out. You can go out as much as you want. The thing is this, right? And you don't even have to go to clubs and all these other things. There's women everywhere out fucking side. You see what I'm saying? Where it's free. Now you can go to bars and clubs and pay the fees if you want to. That's cool too. But I would say this: the more you put in is the more you're going to get out. It's that simple. So I tell guys, listen, you don't have to do anything. You can stay home and talk to nobody. But what I'm saying is that doing that, you're not going to get what you want because you can't get it doing it that way. So if you want to go out there and really make shit happen with women, you got to go out there. But the more you do it, the better you get at it. So it just all depends on how much work you want to put in. So you can go out every week, or you can go out once a month. You can go out once every 6 months if you want. But understand, the less work you put in, right, the weaker your game is. The more work you put in, the tighter your game is. It's that simple. So you got to choose what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? If you don't have your own place, how do I go about getting women? Just get a hotel every time? Well, get a hotel or go to their house, or talk to a friend and try to go to that friend's house and be like, yo, let me borrow your spot real quick. You know what I'm saying? But definitely try to get your own spot, bro, because it's way easier. So technically, since it's a made up phrase, with sexual market value be independent to each woman you interact with. Well, here's the thing. See, when we talk about market means, a mass of people. You see what I'm saying? And so what I'm saying is the reason why there's no sexual market value is because when it comes to you being sexually appealing to a woman, it just depends on that particular woman. See, what they're trying to say with sexual market value is that, well, if you look this way or you are this way, then it's sort of like guaranteed that this many types of women are going to like you. And not only this many women, but these types of women. So if you're, let's say, for example, like the Black Pill says, if you're Chad, right, that means your sexual market value is high. And then you're going to get all of the hottest chicks because you're Chad. You see that's how simple-minded these motherfuckers think. You see what I'm saying? But what they forgot to realize is that Chad don't know how to fucking talk to women. They didn't realize that Chad has a look that other women don't think is attractive. You understand what I'm saying? They forgot that Chad is not attractive to the girl who wants Tyrone. And Tyrone is not attractive to the girl who wants Chad. Right? So, dudes try to, simplify this type of, because look, if there was if there was a whole thing with sexual market value, this is what guys think. They think, okay, let me, just work out, get really buff, do all these things, and then that's going to increase my sexual market value. So I'm just going to walk around and be all, sexy and cool, and then women are just going to flock to me. That's not how it works. It's not how it works. You see what I'm saying? Like, these dudes don't get it. He said, but yes, this has been a wonderful show. I'm going to reflect on some of this. All right, that's what's up. That's what's up. Says, is the deep heavy game that you don't talk about because it flies over everyone's heads that women want to, what? I don't even know what you're saying. Is that kill weak men? Is that what you're saying? I have no idea what you're talking about, bro. The more I learn from you, the more I realize the main structure of game seems to be being clear and concise in context with your wants, the directions and instructions to women. Yeah, that's part of it. That's part of it when you're dealing with women. Be clear, concise, be bold, let the women know what you want, and then have them respond. That's the easiest way to do this shit out here. It says, how much does looks and appearance play a part in where you're at in the game? Well, the thing is that, you know, the looks and appearance can play a part in sexual attraction, but also you have to top that off too with behavior too. So a woman could be sexually attracted to you based off your looks and appearance alone. She'd be like, oh, this motherfucker's fine as hell. But the problem with that is that a lot of times if you are a guy who's goofy as fuck, right? She's not going to want to fuck with you after that. You understand what I'm saying? See, sometimes if you're, for example, if a woman thinks you look good and she's sexually attracted to you because of your look, you're better off saying less. You understand what I'm saying? Like, say less. Because a lot of times you fuck it up and you don't even realize. Sometimes you don't even realize. You said Kevin Samuels created sexual market value and you were on a podcast with him, so now you disagree? First of all, I don't even think Kevin Samuels made up sexual market value. I think niggas was talking about that even before Kevin Samuels was talking about that shit. That's one. And two, let's say he did, right? And even if I disagree, so what? I can't disagree with someone because I'm on a podcast with them? Is that what we talking about Last Jedi? So if I do a podcast with someone, I have to agree with everything they say. Is that what we're talking about? Does that make sense? See, it'd be one thing if I was on a podcast with Kevin Samuels and he said, yo, this sexual market value shit is real shit. And I said, yeah, Kevin, that's some real shit. And then if you said, Lucario, but you was on a podcast and you agreed with him that it was real shit. I didn't never say none of that. What are you talking about? You understand what I'm saying? And on top of that, me and Kevin Samuels disagreed on a lot of shit. But yeah, I don't think it was Kevin Samuels that invented the sexual market value. Oh man, hilarious. Hilarious. But at the end of the day, understand, guys, you know, you can move in and out of the different realities. So if you're a below average guy and shit's not working out for you the way you wanted to because you're not really getting shit popping, you can always become the average guy that's getting something. Now, if you're the average guy and you're like, damn, but I want to get a bunch of chicks and get shit popping, you can become the top guy. But all you need to do is step up your game. That's it. Step up your motherfucking game, people. That's what it's about. But yo, listen, I told you this is going to be a short ass show. So guys, I appreciate y'all tuning in. Make sure that you guys go to badboymembership.com, go to masculineidentitymembership.com. And yeah, man, that's pretty much it. I will holler at y'all guys later. Remember, the truth is inside you. Peace. I'm gone. I'm out. Later.
We're here to define what a man is, right?
Responsibility creates struggle, struggle creates strength, and strength creates structure.
How many people care about what people think about them? Be honest.
As a man, you got to be able to protect not just yourself, but your family.
When we talk about being a man, it's your behaviors.
But I don't say any of this to brag. I don't say any of this to gloat my life up or I'm better than anybody.
I start crying. I'm like, why am I crying? And so what I realized was,
You put yourself in a target-rich environment. You are the only woman that paid for a ticket to come to this event.
if you're trying to teach your daughter to be around a certain man and you're not that man yourself, she gonna choose you.
Hey, let me not touch this nigga. He too clean. Where is that on you?
It's not on me.
It's not on you. The only reason why it's not on you is because you didn't choose it.
Find the women who can actually help you build. And here's some deep game for you. You don't have to have sex with all of them.
Since 2016, I've been following Lucario and Miles. Y'all changed my life. Followed by Uncle Ram. So ever since then, I've been getting a little bit of too much ass at times.
You know, as a man, there's a balance to it. Your purpose and pussy. And the heavier your purpose,
even if you lose the relationship, you don't lose yourself. And that's the most important part.
Yeah.